What we doing,
doing? So what we doing? We just got we gonna look. So what we doing, dog? Oh now.
Oh, now it's morning somewhere. So let's get on to the morning run. Let's go. It's Philip Dukes. It's Uncle Neely. It's Big Dog Chico Cleasy. We up in here live and direct. We have a great show for you guys today on the morning run. Good morning to you and everybody out there. Shout out to all the sponsors. Anybody want to collab on sponsorship, hit us up. Email, Instagram, anything of that nature. And we can and we will reach back out to you guys. We're looking for all partnerships and sponsorships. Contact us. Let's get it on. This is TMR, the morning run. It is, what's the day? Is it Wednesday? It's
Wednesday, baby.
It's Wednesday. All day today. Good morning, Unc. Good morning, Philip Dukes. How y'all doing today?
Dukes just threw the head up like he on the corner. He was like, what up?
That's why I ain't here now. What's happening?
What's going on?
Man, ain't nothing shaking, man. Nothing shaking.
What
we
we
got
doing?
a great show. I know that much. What we doing? We're gonna put on the great show today. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the latest and greatest in sports. We got two great guests that will be joining us today. DC defensive coordinator from the Colorado Buffaloes, Rob Livingston, will join us, and the defensive end legacy buff Ardan Walker will join us on the show today. Right there in that seat next to Uncle Neely.
Call it the hot seat. The hot seat. Chico, I got to tell you something. Dukes is down there in Miami, you in Hawaii, I'm in Boulder. But I got Miami, Hawaii weather, man. It's not a cloud in the sky. Gonna be about 80 degrees all throughout the weekend. Hope that holds up for next weekend for the spring game, because that spring game jinx be a mofo.
Yeah.
Snow one year, rain the next. But man, it is beautiful outside. Still a little snow cap on the mountains. This is the morning run. As you mentioned, Coach Rob Livingston is going to be joining us. Arden Walker will be joining us. And, of course, we'll be talking some other sports news, such as, since I'm right here in Colorado, the winningest coach in Denver Nuggets history just got them a championship a couple of years ago. I ain't been in Colorado long. They just had a parade, seemed like yesterday.
Yeah, in the parade, he was up there slizzard, talking a lot of stuff. Looked like rap coach Mike Malone.
Why that got to be rap?
Because he was looking real hip hopish up there, talking like this, doing like this. You know what I mean? That's why. You know, you don't remember that?
No, dog. I thought he was looking like a coach who was inebriated.
The first ACT word of the day goes to Philip Dukes, Deuce to Scoop, with inebriated. Inebriated.
Nah, you right though, Chico. Yeah, nah, you right, man. Like, nah, but for real, serious business, man. It like, don't it seem like just yesterday, like you said, like, hey, gracious. Seems like time is moving by so fast that we could almost forget about that Nuggets championship. And that was after the Lakers got theirs.
Yeah.
No shade, just telling the truth. So with the way time is moving, nobody has time to wait on folks to get it right no more. He been there 10 years. They was like, all right, you gave us a ring. That's your time, buddy. We trying to win one this year.
Damn.
Yeah. And what it says to me, Dukes, is exactly what you're saying. Time waits on no man. This team is overloaded with talent and underproducing, particularly as it relates since the All-Star break. But what it more importantly says to me is that it was a players-only meeting that took place at that point, because you don't make this kind of move and Joker ain't have a say and Murray didn't have a say. Like, it was a sit down somewhere. And like whenever LeBron has a coaching change, everybody want to put him up on the cross and crucify him and saying he's messing around in management. But here's a situation. Ain't no way this happened and the players didn't say,
Yeah. And from what I understand, they said Booth, it was Booth and Malone was beefing a little bit too. So there was some people that said it was like a Cold War in there. And ownership was just like, all right, I tell you what, y'all can't get along, or neither one of y'all be here. And then the young coach, he's like an NBA. What's the new coach name?
David Adelman. You know, his dad coached in the league for a long time. Rick Adelman.
Yep. So David Adelman, the 43-year-old, is who they feel like is going to be able to tap into this team and get them to play. As you see, like the youth movement in the NBA recently, you know, especially when it comes to guys who had parents who played. So 1000% they went ahead and moved on it. I'm just like 5 games before the play. Was it 5 games before the
I
playoffs
think it's
started?
3 games before the
three.
playoffs for
Yeah.
them. They're number 4 in the West right now, but it's like a log jam with everybody with 47 wins. So if they lose a couple of games, they could be in the play-in tournament before it's all over. But let me ask this question: how might star players like Nikola Jokic adapt to this sudden change of leadership with the Nuggets?
He's gonna score 70 because it was his vote.
Oh wow, yeah, we saw him on the bench, kind of visibly frustrated in the last couple games, and then now this happens. So as Uncle Neely said, he thinks it's a team, a player type decision to get rid of both of these guys and to bring in a younger coach. So we'll see how this.
Well, let's look at the timeline because we talked about how time goes fast, and there's a youthful coaching movement out there, and I'm not against that at all. You look at Florida's head coach; he looked like one of the players up on the grandstand with the trophy. I think he's 39, won a national championship. You're looking now, Adelman stepping in this role. Who can best relate to the players, but to me, Chico, it just says that, again, the leadership of the team was in the know about this and involved in it and wanted it. And you look at the guy like the Joker. I was about to say a Joker like the Joker. In the hood, we call everybody the Joker. But you look at a Joker like the Joker. It's 2025. Y'all do realize 2027 he can go where he want, right? Like, you don't think they're going to sit down with him and say, hey, who do you want to be a coach if you're going to stay here and finish your career in Denver versus end up in the Lakers?
Which will be beautiful. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get him out there with Luka. LeBron will be a good 43. What? Put LeBron in that dunking position like what's his name? Aaron Gordon was. Man, you got something to worry about right there.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to the chat. And if you're just joining us, this is the morning run on the Pregame Network. Dukes, the Scoop, BiggDogg, Chico, yours truly, Uncle Neely. You see this empty seat? Coach Rob Livingston, defensive coordinator for Colorado, will be joining us, as well as player Ardan Walker later on in the show. See, the chat is active and going at it. Be sure to tap in the chat. Let us know where you're checking in from. Of course, we're going to get some shout outs. You got questions, you're going to put them in the chat, and they really get our attention if it's a super chat.
If it's a super chat.
But I ain't gonna lie to you, Chico. I think it's one of the things you gotta be careful what you ask for. What I did see in recent times where Malone was asking for accountability. Like, y'all not watching no film, y'all not doing what y'all supposed to do, y'all don't want to play no defense, y'all ain't got no effort. I'm just gonna tell you what it is. And I'm not sure if that would have rubbed everybody, in the right way. So with that being said, but I think there is a lack of toughness in some of these NBA teams. So when you have a coach who may be a little bit more old school, you gotta be careful what you wish for. Now, they did say that Adelman has been basically the offensive architect of their offense over the past few years, but that offense, Mike Malone was the guy who said we need to funnel the offense through Jokic. So we'll see how that how that formulates. And sometimes having the guy that you pick ain't always the best guy for you. So we'll see.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Do you see Malone going to another squad? Immediately next year. What do you think his plans are coming up?
If he wants to, somebody hire him tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how much a break he wants to take, because he's a champion, proven winner, wins coach in one franchise. He have all the opportunities he want to, should he want them.
Yeah.
I think I believe he's the winningest coach in the NBA in the last 5 years.
Should be close to it. He's certainly the winningest coach in their franchise history. And like we just said, in the time Coach Prime has been in Colorado, has brought Denver a championship.
Yes. 2023 champions. And he is the franchise winningest coach also. He was hired in 2015 by the Nuggets with a current record of 47-32. But they just experienced a 4-game losing streak. So maybe that could have been a factor. They see things going downhill. And the West is so tough right now. They're like, man, we got to find a way to, have some type of spark going on right now. Even though there's 3 games left in the season, I think they're looking for a spark. So we'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the show, because we have the man of the hour just stepped in.
The man of the week. the month, the year, you name it. Coach Rob Livingston, defense coordinator for the Colorado Buffaloes, is joining us live on the morning run. So y'all get ready to get active in the chat. You got questions, make them a super chat. Coach Rob,
welcome. Dude. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Y'all
having a good day?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, man. Pleasure to have you on, Coach.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Beautiful Wednesday here in Boulder. Where else would you rather be, man? 60 degrees outside.
High 80.
High 80. High of 80 today. A little too warm.
Oh, man. That's warmer than it is in Miami. The high today is only 78.
There you go. There you go.
What you got in Hawaii, Chico? What's your attempt to have today?
I'm sure it's going to be 78 to 82. I don't even have to look at
we got them beat. So anybody out there that plays defense, if you're thinking about going to school in Miami, going to school in Hawaii, clearly this way you need to be in Boulder. It's 80 degrees.
Yeah.
80
Coach,
degrees.
we got spring ball underway.
Yeah.
We're over halfway to the end of it, to the culmination of the spring game. What's your assessment of your defense performance so far?
Well, I think, spring is always hard because you're either the best in the world or you stink because you're playing, you're playing your offense. So there's no other opponent. We've had some really good days. We've had some days that we struggled. The exciting part is just finding the new leaders. This is college football 2025. So rosters are going to change. That just is what it is. And obviously with the seniors we had leaving last year, really excited to kind of see who steps up into that leadership role. Did it a little bit different this year. Obviously year two, went into the first 6 practices saying, let's just truly evaluate the players that we have, who can rush the passer, who can cover, who can do the things we needed in the run game, and then put those guys in spots the rest of the way to kind of see what kind of role they can have. And, just excited for the last 5 and the end of spring coming up soon.
Chico.
Yes, indeed. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm doing wonderful. I wanted to know, Coach Prime had the saying last year, we coming. Everybody was saying we coming. Let us know what's coming from your defense this season.
I think hopefully we set a standard last year of how we play. We talk about it all the time. I think when you think back to the best teams you were on and the best defenses you watched, you didn't know really what they were playing, but you could feel them, right? The way they ran to the ball, the way they turned the ball over, the way they rushed the passer. So it's our duty because of the guys we had last year to kind of keep paying that thing forward. So the standard's been set, and it's our job to raise it. So that's an exciting challenge, one that is not lost on me, how difficult it'll be, and the guys that we have in the room. So just want to continue stacking days on days and truly rise up to the standard that was set last year.
Yes. Coach Livingston, when you look at Pro Football Focus, they grade players based on what they see. But a lot of times when I talk to multiple coaches, sometimes they say, well, they did where they were coached, even though may not be what PFF saw. How accurate would you say that PFF is grading your defense based on what the traditional, movement or motion that a player will have versus what you have them do out of traditional alignments?
Yeah, I think, first of all, PFF's got the hardest job going, right? Because they got to try to figure out if the guy was right or wrong. I think where it's a phenomenal tool or asset is to fact collect, to lump the plays that they made, because it's hard to get those wrong. But I think you got to be careful about, what their zone awareness is when they're not sitting in the meeting rooms. They're not knowing what that kid's coached. And again, I recognize it's a hard job. I think it's a useful tool to get information and to candidly make cut-ups and do those kind of things. But, personally, I don't take a lot of stock in who the number 1 zone corner, but per PFF. We do things a different way here. But again, I feel for them because that stuff goes out to probably millions of people at this point. I should have invested a long time ago. I think they're based out of Cincinnati, so I probably missed the boat there.
Oh, man.
Coach, speaking of Cincinnati, you decade plus experience as a scout. We just finished our showcase / pro day. When you look at that experience compared to what you saw when you used to travel to pro days, and then I want to talk about some of your guys and what they're going to be getting. Someone's in the league going to be getting from a Shiloh and a Cam. But first and foremost, what did you see when you walked into that showcase compared to your experiences?
It was the first year that you feel like a parent almost. I was probably more nervous for them than they were. You want to see them put their best foot forward. I thought it was a great day. I can't say enough about the ops staff here. Reg Calhoun, Miss Tyler Johnson. I mean, it looked like nothing I'd ever seen before. So they did a great job. The kids did a great job. They showed out, and I'm just excited for where they end up.
So when you look at because you touched on this starting the show,
yeah,
one of the things you've always said, if Cameron Silver Craig gets opportunity, you're not going to get him out the building.
No. I mean, Cam's a fighter. Cam was obviously huge for us last year, and when you turn on the tape, I don't really care what PFF might say, but I know what his value was for us, and I know what he meant to me personally. He's a better person than he is a player, which is a high bar to set. And you can't go wrong. You give him a chance, and you're going to look up in a year or two, and he's going to be doing something for you. And just the value that he brings the building as well. There's a great saying in the legacy book about the New Zealand All Blacks that better people make better All Blacks, and Cam is as good a person, and you can't go wrong there. But we're fortunate. We got a lot of great kids, and given the opportunity, that's the key to life.
Yeah.
We had a guy, Mike Thomas, that means the world to me. Mike was with us in Cincinnati for 3 years, and college free agent, on the practice squad. He got called up to the Dolphins. He's playing at the end of the game versus the Patriots, picks off Tom Brady, has a 12 or 13-year run in the NFL, made the Pro Bowl on 3 occasions as a special teams player. And, all these kids need his opportunity, and at that point, it's up to them.
Yeah. Now, I'm touching on these two guys because you're not only just the defense coordinator, you coach the safeties.
Yeah.
So that was Cam. Now let's go to Shiloh. I know he had this deal with his dad about if I get this time, buy me a car. But for the love of God, I don't know why people are acting like a 4.5 is slow.
No, I'd take a 4.5. Shiloh is one that, I honestly think about your senior year. You work a long time.
You can say work your ass off on this show.
Okay. I didn't know, we got backdrops. It looks like a very PC backdrop. I didn't want to lose viewers. But you work your ass off, and you break your arm. And, you had to miss 3.5 games and came back and made the most of it. I thought that stretch there between Arizona to Oklahoma State, I thought he played well. And he's another one. He's played in multiple schemes. Obviously played in the middle of the field for us a lot. That can get a little boring because the guys we had in front of him, did a good job. He's played in the quarters-based system the year before. So, again, give him a shot. I think he knows that he's going to have to cut his teeth on special teams like most young players. And, you can't go wrong. Obviously, running a 4.5 is really good. I might have paid a scout personally to get a 4.4. A little something for the effort there. Depends on what kind of car we're talking about. I don't think it was going to be a Fiat, so it's probably worth the investment there.
Chico, Dukes,
go ahead, Dukes.
Coach, I wanted to ask, I did a deep dive on your defense, and I was just reading every article I could and see if I could make it marry up to the film, and I couldn't. So I wanted to ask you personally. A lot of people say that you have a man-based defense. Apologize. And I saw some zone looks. I believe the Kansas game, I saw when Travis Hunter got that pick. It looked like he was in a cover 3. Is there a specific percentage that you want to stay in man versus zone, or do you just go versus how the game is flowing?
I think it's just, you look at each week as its own season in my mind. I think when you look at the Patriots, when they're on that run there, each week was different. So if you can get in the truck after the game and say, hey, we made them play left-handed, then I'm good with it. So, it's a heavy man team that you feel good about the matchups on the outside. Obviously, I can't say enough about Coach Mathis and what he does for our corners. I think he's the best teacher I've ever been around. So, yes, there are some weeks like that. Other weeks, to your point, you can play zone because you need to have vision on the quarterback. Maybe it's you got to keep them in the pocket kind of week. So it varies. That's our job as coaches to look at, okay, hey, what do we have to take away, whether it's a receiver, whether it's the run game, and then just be great situationally. There's sometimes, when it's 3rd and 4, there's not a lot of great options besides man. There's other times on early downs or in the red zone, where you can have vision and the guys up front are rushing good, then we're in a good spot. I think the Arizona game, we went into that. Obviously, they had a dominant receiver with a certain mindset. Okay, anybody but him. And then you look up and 3 sacks in the first quarter, and it's like, hey, dude, let's just play some zone and let those guys rush. So I think each game is different. Each week is different. And candidly, each quarter can be different. You got to feel the game and know what's going on. Maybe they lost a guard. Maybe they lost a tackle. Maybe you lost a corner. And just adapt and adjust that way.
Nice.
Coach.
Shout out to Coach Mathis right there.
Yeah,
Coach.
no, best.
Yes, indeed. Coach, if I'm a GM and I'm thinking about drafting Travis Hunter and I call you, what do you tell me and let me know that I'm getting in Travis Hunter?
Yeah, the first thing is don't overthink it. It's smoke screen season. There's a lot of, reports and, anonymous scout or anonymous position coach. Just don't overthink it. He's one of one. He's as rare as they come. Again, like we talked about with Cam, Travis is a better person than a player. And I firmly believe a year from now, he'll be 100%, 200% better at his craft. Personally, because of where I sit, I think he's a corner. But there are times when you look up during the game and he's going 60 yards and you think he's a receiver. So tireless worker, Travis has changed my views on a lot of things. I think, culture is the big kind of buzzword this time of year, trying to create a culture and all that stuff. I think culture is clearly defined when your best player is your hardest worker. And that's Travis Hunter. You can't go wrong there. Obviously, he's got 2 strikeout positions, so if it doesn't work out at corner, he can be a full-time wideout. But I firmly believe, the best is yet to come with him, and he's special.
Coach, you're getting a lot of love for your New Zealand All Blacks reference.
There we go.
Great shout out to
New Zealand All Blacks.
It's a great book.
Got a question from Just My Opinion. That's his actual name, not his opinion. Just My Opinion says, how confident is Coach Rob in the corners? Because as fans, we think we have the best secondary in the nation.
Yeah, no, I'm very confident. I think if we're giving shout outs, as my good man just said, let's shout out Diego, how do you say it? Diego Pavia.
I'll go with that.
Yeah. That got us Preston Hodge back another year. So, Preston's obviously imperative for what we do and how we play. The slot position is one of the tougher positions in this defense. Feel really good about DJ and Colton Hood getting a chance. And, it is what it is. I think when you got Kevin and you got that group plus RJ Johnson plus, the depth that we've got in that room, Ivan Yates has come in and had a good spring. I think the sky's the limit. And we put those guys in some tough spots. It's judgment day on every snap, on the outside the numbers. If you get bombed, everybody in the world's going to know about it. If you're a 3 technique and you're out of your gap, just your position coach knows about it. So heavy is the head that wears the crown outside, and they do a great job.
Yes. You spoke on culture a little bit. Can you speak on the culture that Coach Prime has built in Colorado from what you've seen over this last year and a half?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, all the catchwords, it's been eye-opening. It's been life-changing. It's been unique. He truly lets you be yourself. We talk about it all the time. We don't have a lot of team rules, right? You got to wear your socks a certain height. You got to run to the ball on defense, and you can't wear earrings. Everything else is full speed ahead. So he really lets you be yourself, both as a player and a coach, which is refreshing. He sets the standard, and as he said, the standard is the standard. There's no gray here. It's black and white, and you know exactly where you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to be there. And when you eliminate that gray in how you go about your day and how you train and how you run and how you lift and how you teach, it makes life easy. And I can't say enough about just the culture, the feeling. This is a special place, and it's a family atmosphere. My kids are up here all the time. It's truly unique, and it's something that really it makes you run to work every day when you can work for a guy that has your back, that's going to have your best interests at heart, and really cares more about you as a person than as a candidly an employee.
And I can't wait till your son is a little older and appreciates who was teaching him a batting stance.
Yeah, I mean, we go home and it's like, hey, look, he played baseball, right? Oh, really? Like, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, we're on like YouTube watching Cincinnati Reds highlights from the 90s. But yeah, baseball season's coming up for my son, so we might have to have some more tutorials based upon the practice I just watched.
Isn't it crazy? I was going to say, isn't it crazy how your kids don't see you as being an athlete or being able to coach them sometimes? My daughter said the same thing the other day. How do you know about getting in shape for a volleyball player? I'm like, girl, only if you knew. Only if you knew.
Only if you knew.
Well, he don't have to listen to me, but when Coach Prime tells him, hey, dude, this should be your stance, then I think you better listen.
You better listen, dog. Go ahead, Dukes.
Coach, speaking of Coach Prime, what's it like being able to bounce ideas off defensively against, and you being a secondary guy, being able to have that conversation with the greatest cornerback of all time?
Yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal asset, right? Like, I find ourselves each week talking about, like, bunch or stack pickups, and he can go back to, hey, we were playing the Eagles and we were going in and out and they hit us with this, so we got to be careful about that. The matchups are something that we talk about early in the week. If somebody's going off, how are we going to double them? What does that look like? If we got to stop the run, who we're going to single up. But you're talking about a guy that has done it on all levels at the highest of heights. So it's a phenomenal asset. He's over there a lot, individual. So you find yourself, when somebody's looking over your shoulder, you better do it right. So it's a lot of fun.
Coach, one thing I want to touch on with before we let you get out of here, Coach Prime has made no secret that he feels you are a future head coach, and that he loves that elevation in you. And in fact, been no secret that there were offers for you to leave here, and you chose to stay and come back. What went into your decision to say, no, I'm not finished at Colorado? And what does it mean to you to have a Deion Sanders that you just described saying, hey, this guy's going to be a head coach one day?
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing. I mean, loyalty is something that in this field, I feel like goes, one way, way too often. And, I jokingly say, like, I was that dog on the side of the road that everybody would drive by and say, that's a good looking dog, but, we're good. Yeah. And he gave me a chance. And that he changed my life. He changed my family's life. We took a chance to come out here, but he took a bigger chance on me. And it's just to pay that forward, and just the quality of life here. I mentioned, having a young family and not having to guard your desk for 20 hours a day and do those things that this profession can kind of tear you apart, tear your family apart. And to know that he has your back. I mean, there's plenty of Sundays I walk in here, with my head down, and he's the first one to say, hey, man, look, you did a good job. We can fix this. We can fix that. And just the empowerment to be yourself and to lead the way you want to lead. We don't do things around here just because that's how it's always been done. We're always looking for the best way to get our point across, the best way to teach, the best way to lead. And I think, again, in this climate where rosters are, almost ever changing, you got to be confident in who you are. And I think, as everybody knows, Coach Prime, he knows exactly who he is. He knows exactly what he wants. And when you're a position coach or a coordinator, that makes life easy. Yeah. So it's a blessing to be here. The off season is the off season. Too often we get mad at players when they leave in the portal. Well, coach has been in the transfer portal for the last 20 years, right? I mean, call it like it is, right? So let's not be naive to that fact. And I think you got to look around and why chase happiness when it's right in front of you? I think was the biggest thing for me and my family. So we're blessed to be here. And, trust me, I understand, 2025 is 2025. It doesn't matter what happened in 24. So that's our mindset to whatever we did last year, right, wrong, or indifferent, to be better and to set the standard even higher. So we can make this a special place, because I know it is.
I got one more for you, Coach.
Yeah,
First is a notification. Okay. With your new deal, you have officially crossed over to let me hold some stamps. One of your partners get it, you be like, hey, man, you got to let me hold some. Yeah. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
One of the things I want to get some your thoughts and thinking.
Yeah.
When you have the good, the bad, the ugly plays, you don't shy away from saying, hey, guys, that was my fault. Yeah. I put you in that position. That won't happen again. And you punish yourself with the guys.
Yeah.
Where does that come from in your coaching mindset, that it's important to let players know, hey, I F up too, but I'm going to own it like I expect you to?
Yeah, I think it's just leadership, right? Like, too often in any position where you have some kind of power, if it goes great, the person wants all the credit, right? But if it goes bad, they want to point fingers every which way. I believe with the job that I hold, that when things go great, the players should get all the credit, because they're the ones making plays. Once they cross that white line, it's on them. And when things don't go great, it's all my fault. And that's just kind of how I view the world. The leaders that I've been around, the Marvin Lewises, the Paul Guenthers, the Al Goldens, the Mike Zimmers, that's how they approached it. And that's who I want to be. I think we've all kind of have been in those staff meetings where it's I when it's great, and it's you when it's not going great. And I think when times are tough, I would like to believe that if the people know that, hey man, he's got our back, then they'll play fast, they'll play free, and then it is what it is after that.
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, if you're just checking with the morning run, we have had Coach Rob Livingston with us, defense coordinator of the Colorado Buffaloes. Got time for a couple more before we got to let Coach get back to his DC work.
Yeah, I'll look for the chat for a couple more, but Coach, I was able to bump into you after a game and see yourself with your family who came in over from.
Because he's a known pickpocket.
Yeah, I didn't get him. I didn't get close to him. He kept me at arm's reach. And no, but I was able to meet your family. You and your mom and dad came down from North Carolina, if I remember correctly. Can you give a shout out to your family and everybody back home real quick on the Morning Run?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously this profession, like most, it takes everybody to get you through. And I'm phenomenally blessed to have two parents that I wouldn't be here without, and a support system of, aunts and a grandfather and all that stuff that kind of helped to get me here. And, in this profession, your wife is the rock. And my wife is the reason that we took the chance to come out here. We got 4 little ones. God knows she's a single mom, way too much. And she makes it go. So I just drive the car. As I say, she tells me where to go, where to be in the off season. As I think we got 3 practices tonight, going from soccer to gymnastics to baseball. And she does it all without blinking. So would not be here without her and the support system that I had growing up, for sure.
100%.
Coach Livingston, it's well publicized that Colorado has a really big quarterback competition going on right now. From a defensive coordinator standpoint, can you just speak on 1+ trait of each quarterback, even with Staub, like 1+ trait of the top 3 quarterbacks on the roster?
Yeah, I mean they're unique in that they're different a little bit. Obviously, Salter's had success. He knows what it looks like. I think he was 3,000, 1,000. I think that his junior year at Liberty or his sophomore year, however you want to think about it, he makes you play 11 on 11. Obviously, his wheels are well documented, but he can also throw from the pocket. The young kid Juju is immensely talented. I think he's got a phenomenal feel for the passing game in terms of layers, whether it's the vertical or the horizontal stretch, throwing over somebody and in front of somebody. And Staub's a guy that, every time his number's called, he makes a play for us. In practice games, he's done a good job. That's a trait that is unique, to be a backup quarterback. I mean, it's not like you're a relief pitcher that gets 25 pitches in the bullpen before they play your theme music to get you running out there. You're grabbing your helmet and you're in the game. So Coach Shermer does a great job with those guys. It's a challenge every day to rise up to that level. And anytime there's a competition on that side of the ball, it makes us better. So we're in good hands, obviously with the players, with the offensive staff, obviously some new additions. They've done some good things. And I'm excited to see them score hopefully 70 points a game. So we'll hold them to about 65 and we'll be good.
Yeah, right.
Well, Coach, man, we appreciate your time. I know you got some other things to attend to.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, guys.
We'd love to have you back anytime you come. We know we're about to close out the summer, but this fall, you and I got a bet going. So
we do. I owe some time. So I appreciate you guys. Obviously, all the support, all the fans out there, all the support, and excited for this season.
I do want to point out that last year, the play you called the Neely special, you drew up at the hotel with a blitz from Cam Stillman and Craig worked. That's all I'm saying about it.
He's batting 1,000 right now, so he's feeling it a little bit too. In case you haven't noticed.
Oh yes, of course. He's gonna
get that mic
high step.
We don't hear in the office. During the pro day, Dukes walked off with his mic, and we heard this whole conversation. We don't want that to happen to you.
Don't want that to happen.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Hey, that was Coach Rob Livingston checking in with us on the morning run. We still got Ardan Walker to come. That's going to be joining us. And man, if you know and love ball, how do you not love that guest right there, man? Like, what a conversation.
Absolutely. Coach Rob Livingston, defensive coordinator, Colorado Buffaloes, came over from the Cincinnati Bengals. I remember Chris Berman used to call them the Bungles back in the day. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that, Chico. I got enough real gray to remember that. I don't hide my gray. It's there for real. That wasn't a shot.
I know it wasn't a shot.
But you know what I loved about his dog on the side of the road analogy? Like what a good looking dog, but we good.
Yeah,
like that is to hear that loyalty in this industry where he literally turned down offers, and that's plural with an S, to remain here in Colorado, and for Coach Prime to recognize his talents and know that he's going to move up into the world sooner than later. But it's no baller blocking. He wants that success with his staff. So love that conversation, man.
Baller blocking. I heard that. Look like somebody's back there behind you. Is that Arden back there getting ready to go already? That's what I'm talking about. See, I told you, Chico, shots fired. Told y'all, man, no Beijing. I could just pull it off and sit it on the side. And then when I wake up in the morning, I put it up and stick it back on and it Velcros. I don't even need no glue.
So what we doing?
So what we doing is we're going to talk about a little bit of this before we go to Arden. And that is Duke's main man. You go, why that's my main man? I'm just playing with you, Dukes. Morant.
Why is that my main man?
I'm just messing with you, Duke. He might be in Atlanta. Hell, the way he acted in Memphis, they're gonna get him up out of there. Man, Morant, once again, with his celebrations, he started off with the guns, of course. Now he's doing a damn hand grenade celebration. After he shot a 3-pointer, he pulled a pin, threw that thing in the audience, and then covered his ears, dog. What the hell is going on with Morant?
Well, first of all, before I get into what the hell is going wrong with him, shout out to Gilbert Arenas, who on his podcast said, you got to stop the gun stuff. They not playing. He said, man, I don't know, do something different like a grenade. And sure enough, the next damn game.
That's where it came from? Yes. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Hey, I got the funniest story in the world about that.
Come on now, dog.
Okay, so you might got me. All right, so I got 2 rappers I used to work with. One name was Don Ace, and he had a buddy named Ola Run. And every video they had, I used to say, man, y'all got too many guns in the video. You're not gonna be able to get no sponsors. I promise you, you can go on YouTube right now, look at a Don Ace video. Ola came to the next video shoot with a snub nose and a grenade. I promise. And then I called, and I was like, bro, what are y'all doing? He said, you said don't bring no more guns.
I was about to say, did he not decrease the guns?
Man, I would have left immediately, dog.
Man, shout out Don Ace and Ola, man.
Like, man, I'm not
I would tell y'all guys this and how seriousness.
Damn,
even in the collegiate level, one of the things that the officials are even at the scrimmage, saying like, hey, none of the gun, gestures, that's not going to be tolerated in sports. So it's not just an NBA thing. But I think this is even just this season. Forget what happened in the past. He got a warning, got another warning, and then switched to another weapon. It's getting old. He's getting in his own way. I think there's some maturity that needs to take place, some additional maturity. But it's one of those things, man. I don't know if he knows or appreciates this literally could get you out the league.
And ask Gilbert Arenas. Although he actually brought guns to the locker room and Josh just mimicking, but with his past, that should be the last thing you're doing, dog. Is keep bringing that up. That's like, I'm not even gonna say what it's like. Go ahead, Duke.
All right, now I'm just saying it's just funny, man. When I bought the Morant shoes last, and I was joking, I said, man, the Morants come with 7.62s, and everybody thought it was funny, but that's what it felt like. Like I was like, get complimentary bullets with these, and man, Josh he just doing the same thing, man. Like what? But one thing about it, man, like my grandma used to say, man, some people don't believe fat meat grease. So at the end of the day, hopefully he gets the people around him that can help him get into that mindset where he understands he's a business and how it's affecting his brand.
Right. Morant, all I'm gonna do to you and say to you is
that mic right there. So what we doing?
So
what we doing?
You gonna start a segment for us, Ja. So what we doing? Because we can't be doing that, Morant.
Well, no, we can't. It can't be that. I guess a lot of stuff we could be doing. But for Gilbert Gun Arenas to give the advice to switch to a grenade, and then he switched to a grenade, like, come on, dog. And I look, I love Gilbert Arenas, man. I love Gilbert Arenas.
Man, well, we're gonna get a guy who don't have any of those problems that Gilbert or Morant has, and that is my main man, number 53, the defensive end for the Colorado Buffaloes, the legacy buff. That is Ardan Walker. What's up, Arden?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Hey man, we're doing great, man.
Good.
You know, Chico, I love that intro right there. What the sound man should have done is done that clap when you no, not that one. The applause. Oh, you ain't got an applause? Oh, no, my bad, sound man. I ain't mean to put you on the spot. I thought you had a standing ovation sound, We get it.
Got it right there.
Yeah, sound man. Like, so you got to understand, Arden.
Okay.
Sound man. We got him out the portal. I mean, like on the last day of the portal. So we'll see. Ardan Walker has joined us on the morning run, coming live on the Pregame Network with Deuce the Scoop, BiggDogg, Chico. Arden, so far this spring, give us an assessment of your room in the defense and how you feeling.
We'll start off in my room. I will say, like, some of the older guys on the team, so I feel like Coach Hilo has been holding us to like a higher standard, and just make sure we're playing at a high level at all times. So me and Tajay make sure some of the other guys in my room, like the young pups, have been falling behind us and make sure they're making plays when they get on the field as well. So then I feel like as the defense, I think we're just coming along again, figuring out what we got, and make sure we set that tone like Coach Rob was saying earlier. So
Yeah, how's it feel to be sitting where your DC sitting on the same page?
I mean, I feel good. Yeah.
All right, let's get you to name some names out there now. Let's talk about your defensive line. Who are some other guys that's going to be your running mates or your tag team partners in getting in the backfield this year?
When Big Sam comes back, Tajay, I mean, I gotta start my whole room for real. Honestly, I feel like everybody can go. Big Quincy coming along, Quincy Wiggins. I said we've been putting him in the incubator. I feel like he's been coming along and making plays. I said the two young bucks, Alex and London. I'm proud of them. I feel like I took them under my wing and make sure that they can get up to speed with the game and stuff like that. But interior wise, I mean, you got Taven Coleman, you got Gabriel Lightfoot. I can name everybody really. Otis, Big Barnes, and Tafiq. I said everybody been bringing energy, and I feel like everybody just hungry to rush and stop the run. I feel like that's been making the game fun. I mean, we've been having fun in practice, getting close on and off the field. So, I mean, that's just to name a few guys, but I feel like the whole room really.
Duke top there was at not at the scrimmage, but the practice before the scrimmage. And one of the things he commented on, I want to hear y'all talk about it, was the energy of the defensive side of the ball. Sure. How y'all were really out there pulling for each other. And in Duke's words, he was like, man, it's like they hate the offense. Like,
oh, yeah, no. I mean, and that's how it's supposed to be. I mean, shoot, I guess for me, I mean, coming from the SEC, like, practice is hard. And I feel like we've been pushing ourselves to make sure that we going at each other in practice, challenging the offense to make sure they give us some new plays so we can actually think and, like, scheme for them as well. I mean, we can't really scheme. Of course, it's like spring practices and stuff like that. But, like, just making sure that they giving us some challenges and we going at them because, I mean, really, you get into these 11, 13, 14 games, it's like, man, you getting the best every week. I mean, of course, we Colorado, so we got that the Colorado on our chest. It's like, shoot, we getting the best. And I think that's what's been going on in practice. And I think we've been taking advantage of that too. So, but I mean, we're getting a real feel. And this is only March and going to April now. So,
yeah.
Hey, Arden, how do you feel about going one-on-ones, like good on good? So I noticed that a lot of times, like, certain schools, they go ones versus twos and they go two versus ones, and they want to make sure that offense is installed against maybe not the best player so they can make sure they get the offense installed. How much of an advantage of it to you is it for you to get reps good on good this early in the year?
I mean, I feel like it's a NFL setting really because if you think about it, everybody in the league is good. And so I think making sure that you're on your game at all times, like, of course, it's easy to slack when you go into like ones, twos, or 2 versus 3s kind of situation. So I think just being on it at all times, like that just like gets you ready for his upcoming season. So, I mean, I need it, honestly.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your dad played for the Buffs, Arden.
Yes,
Can you talk about, making a decision to go to Missouri at the time and then transferring back or transferring to Colorado?
You know what's so funny? So, like, when I was coming out of high school, my dad's the one who, like, kind of pushed me to go to Missouri. At the time, I felt like that was the best situation, especially I was picking names out of hat basically because it was COVID as well. So going into that 2021 season, it's like I couldn't take any official visits and stuff like that. But, I mean, getting to know the staff and, like, really was like the best situation for me at the time. So going down there to go get that experience of playing the SEC, I feel like I needed it. And then coming back here, that was my sophomore year going into redshirt junior year. Redshirt freshman going to sophomore year. My bad. I decided to come home. I seen an opportunity. Coach Pregame gave me an opportunity to come home, and I took advantage of it really. So I had to figure out what's going on and get accustomed to their system and everything. When that was that first year, it was like a guinea pig year. I feel like we had to see what we needed and what we had. So I said going into now, like, You see, we've been increasing every year, and I feel like that's what it's time to take off really now.
Yeah. Arden, I want to talk to you about your coaches. Of course, you got the greatest to ever do it from his position, then arguably just the greatest to ever do it period in football, and Deion Sanders is your head coach.
Yes, sir.
But you got Coach Sapp pouring into you, Hilo pouring into you, all the way to your DC that was sitting here. What has this coaching staff meant to you in your growth?
Like I've told many people, I feel like IQ for me for sure. I think just understanding the knowledge of the game. Like I've been getting opinions from like all different ways, and I see in the game from different positions and stuff like that as well. I mean, of course, Coach Prime, I can see it like for coverages. Coach Hilo, he's been a position coach, a coordinator at one point, so even understanding the ins and outs of like the defenses and stuff like that. Of course, Coach Sapp giving his taste in terms of like D tackle play. Like of course, there's times where I've rushed from different places, so like I said I feel like I've got a wealth of knowledge. I've been just been a sponge and making sure I know all the information, because I feel like that gives me the advantage at the end of the day. So
as I've watched your growth and development since being here, particularly with these coaches, it seems to me, and this is not to say you have not gotten physically stronger and faster, those kind of things. It seems like the game has slowed down for you.
I agree 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Like I said, I feel like I know what's going on, and I've got the reps obviously too. So I think it's like now for me to really put like the pen on the paper and take the test. Really, that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Arden, when you get your plan together for a offensive tackle, you can tell last year that you put, I wouldn't say more into your game, but like you said, it kind of slowed down. And then I started to see a secondary move. What was like the tipping point when you was like, you know what, I'm a game plan for this guy, and I'm gonna start to use this secondary move, because I hadn't saw that before.
It's so funny you say that, because obviously, like, I mean, there's times I watch a lot of tape my pops as well, but like that's something I feel like going into last year, that's something I needed to add to my bag. I mean, of course, the guys give me, I went on my first move, and sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting caught up because he's recovering or things like that. So I was looking at like just the way they were setting, the way they were blocking, just like some keys and stuff I feel like I could steal. I think I just kind of focus on that a lot more during the season. So
I would say
that's kind of crazy. I'm like, yeah, that's something I definitely was focusing on.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Coach Livingston, coming from the Bengals in the NFL, what is one thing he has brought that has already made you better?
I mean, I feel like the freedom side to play, really just to attack. He lets us know, like when we first got here, he was telling us about like how the scheme is kind of set up what the D-line does. Obviously, it starts up front, but like really embodying that and making sure that we're getting off on the ball, setting the plays in the backfield, and obviously like our secondary is playing off of us. So if we make a mistake, they're making us right. But it's like at the end of the day, we got to make sure we do our job and do it well, really. And I feel like it makes the job easier for the other guys behind me as well.
One of the things about the offensive line, they're not truly right now at full strength. You got some guys coming back off injury. Same thing with your side of the ball. But what are you seeing out of the O-line this year compared to last, from this iron sharpening iron standpoint, that you guys are both getting better?
I feel like they've had to reach the bar, like you said, since we've been setting the tone on defense. They're like, okay, well, I mean, I got to get back in the lab and figure out how I'm going to get to practice the next day and figure out like, okay, how can I stop this guy? I mean, that's what it is week to week. And I think that it's happening on both sides of the ball, but I definitely feel like we can make the O-line step their game up in terms of just like the level of play and energy and physicalness. So physicality. So.
Love it.
Yeah.
Arden, last week I was at practice and I saw guys, and I think I saw you as well. You got off, you got off on the offensive lineman in Indy, and then you helped them. What's it like having like with some of the younger guys, getting them ready, but having all right, first I got to do it to you first, but then next I'm gonna try to help you get better. What's that like, balancing that competitive energy with also wanting to help your teammate get better?
I mean, from a leadership standpoint, I mean, I'm still learning. I mean, I don't know everything, but it's some things that I could see, and I feel like from peer to peer, sometimes it's better than peer to coach or coach to peer teaching. So obviously, my mom, she's a teacher, so that's something she says. Sometimes you learn better from just hearing it from another student. So like, I mean, I might know something. Obviously, I didn't play enough snaps to a point where now I know what's going on a little bit more than some of the younger guys. So I'm like, okay, you're doing this and that. I could point this out to you. So next time you go and get somebody, it's like, hey, all right, I notice how he's moving in his stance, or he got this key and tip. So you know what I'm saying? It's like we learn off each other. And I feel like just growing your IQ, football IQ, is still important no matter what position you play. So
Hey, chat, if y'all got some questions for Ardan Walker, get them in the chat. We're trying to skim and go by them. Want to really get us attention, make it a super chat, but we're gonna try to grab some questions. Chico, Dukes, y'all go ahead with them. I'm gonna try to pull a question out.
few rapid fires ones right here for you. Let's switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Rapid fire. Who's the loudest guy on defense?
Tafiq Thomas, easy.
Period. Just period.
Uncle, you said
And
period.
it's not a matter of right or wrong. It's just gonna be loud.
9-5.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big Tafiq, man.
Yeah,
Who's the funniest?
Feek is not gonna let facts get in the way. Like he gonna be loud.
Funniest teammate.
You said funniest teammate?
Funniest, yes.
Ooh, that's hard. Dang. I had to say French right now for sure. French is hilarious. You gotta listen to him talk.
Yeah, out of Memphis. Memphis, Mine.
Memphis, mine. Yeah.
Who's a player, and I gotta say this the right word, this the right word. Who's a player you don't want to line up across from in practice? In other words, give a shout out to one of the offensive linemen.
I mean, I've been going against Jordan Seaton every day. I got to give him his props. Like, I feel like he challenges me to make sure I'm on my game because we both want to get to the top. So I feel like we made an agreement like, hey, bro, we got to push each other every day. So, yeah, I feel like battling and getting to where you want to be. Like, he said you want to be a first runner, and I do too. So, whatever it takes.
Yeah, I think both of you guys have it. Last one, your dream sack celebration.
I just go with the trends for real. I mean, anything on TikTok, I'll figure it out and do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Jake's eyebrows. This is my shout out to man Jake at DMVR with the eyebrows. This is Jake's eyebrows. Who's the most underrated on the defensive line that doesn't get enough attention?
Ooh, I might have to go interior on this one. I feel like Tavian Coleman for sure. He's coming along, and then it's between him and Gabriel Lightfoot. I feel like them two, they got some. They can make some noise coming here pretty soon. I think.
Coleman and Lightfoot.
Matter of fact, if you watch at Wednesdays with Warren, we had Coach Sapp mic'd up yesterday, and he was commenting on Lightfoot, and he really likes his movement. So I mean, you got a gold jacket watching practice. I mean,
yeah,
it says enough right there.
Arden, do you ever work on your pass coverage like like as far as like underneath routes, because in the defense you can drop it anytime. How much time do you spend working on your pass coverage for underneath?
I mean, yeah, I still work my technique because I mean, yeah, we still have to drop at times when it's called to. So I mean, that's why I said I still got to know like what receivers are lined up where and where the tight ends are, like strength of the course. So yeah, formation still matter. Like I said, IQ is still big, but yeah, I definitely work on it because I mean, I feel like at the next level, I'm either gonna be an outside linebacker or a true DN. So still an edge player at the end of the day. I got to be able to drop. So
well, that brings a question up from Goonsville Clothing. Shout out to Goonsville Clothing.
Guys, what up?
What player would you say your skill is most similar to in the NFL?
I say like I got 3 players I watch like heavily. My favorite 3 players overall right now are TJ Watt, which is my number 1 for sure. Michael Parsons, and then Will Anderson. Those are 3 guys I watch like faithfully for
Those
sure.
Good ones.
Yeah,
3 good ones.
Yeah.
You're a Colorado native. You're a Colorado native, Arden. How has it been to witness and be a part of this prime effect that's going on in your home state?
I mean, I'm honored. I mean, and obviously I'm from Denver, like really, really, really from Denver. So just representing the people around me as well. I feel like I take pride in what I am. So it's been great though. I'm real blessed to be here.
Got a good one from Monica Reese right here. Arden, let me set the stage. As you know, Arden, the chat might not know. Coach Brian gives out D's and L's. That's dogs and leaders. That's what it's for in the jerseys. Arden, do you consider yourself a leader or a dog?
Or nah. Let's see. I mean, I've been a leader, but I want to be a dog. Really, I think the dog one for sure stands out. Honestly.
Well, you my dog.
For sure, sounds good.
Locked.
Locked in. You already know.
100%.
That was one question that I skipped it on purpose. Somebody said, "How often do you catch me twerking in practice?" So,
that's wild.
Oh Lord.
Always working.
Always working.
Never twerking, man. This is no twerk zone. Once you pull up at 2150 Stadium Drive and get out, it's all work, no twerk.
Make sure you take care of Arden with his NIL deal for that answer to for the answer right there. Make sure you take care of it. So what we do.
All right, if you can tell me, last year we know Colorado came over to the Big 12. What was your welcome to the Big 12 moment when you were like, all right, this is real?
I mean, like league play or just like in general?
League play.
League play. I feel like from scheme wise, it's a little bit different, or we kind of get a balance. I will say, because compared to the Pac-12 last year, it was a lot more like in the air, little kind of West Coast ball, but it's a little more balanced in the Midwest, kind of like Southwest. So I think I mean, pretty much the very first like league play game. What was that? Was it Kansas State? I'll say probably. Yeah, it was Kansas State. So yeah, I think that's when we kind of had to lock in and figure out, okay, these blocks are a little different. These formations are different. So yeah, I think that was the adjustment for sure. And I think going from that game on, obviously, you seen we had a run, so we kind of locked in after that.
There's been a lot of love
as
a go ahead, Chico.
Go ahead. Oh well, all right. As a defensive end, outside linebacker, a little bit on your mindset right here. Would you rather get a big hit in the backfield on a run, like a tackle for loss, or would you rather get a big sack?
That's hard. I mean, I like TFLs for sure. I mean, of course, yeah, I definitely say sack. Sacks get you paid in the league, keeping it real. So I'm about to go sack. But if I say TFL, it's like I feel those are energy changers in the game, like within like series. So you make a big play in the backfield, you can get up talking, and do your little dance, get back on the line of scrimmage. But yeah, definitely TFLs are energy shifters for sure. But I got to go sack on that one.
You got a lot of folks in the chat wishing you well, giving you all praise and compliments. Some folks in the chat going back and forth on the number of sacks that you're going to have this season. So here's my question: do you have goals like that, or is it team ball? Is it how do you work out what's a great season for Ardan Walker?
And look, I mean, I feel like right now, since I'm seen as a leader on the team, which I feel like I got to continue to keep working on. I think Coach Livingston probably was telling y'all about that. Like, we're still looking for that on the team. I think, of course, I'm gonna step into that role. I'm make sure I step into that role. But I'll say, like, I think from a leadership standpoint, it rises and falls with what I do on the team. So I think make sure I pick up my play and hustling and going sideline to sideline to make plays. I think guys can come along and be like, okay, I got to do that too. Make sure I'm on the field so we can get these dubs and win, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about winning. So for us to continue to get exposures that we need and really be in like I'm the yard of the eye of college football right now, but like, I mean, really to be on top, we got to up our play. That's really what it is. So I feel like leading by making plays and stuff like that, I got to do that.
Let me give you this one. This is kind of off the field, but get your reaction to it. Jabo1X says, Ardan Walker is the most humble, respectful person I ever met. I met him once. He was super down to earth and respectful. He said, yes, sir, to me after everything I said to him.
I appreciate that.
Why are manners and that kind of thing off the field important to you?
I mean, I feel that's credit to my parents. I mean, that's how I was brought up. Obviously, my parents, my dad from the South, my mom from the West Coast, but I mean, that's how I was raised, really. I feel like I treat the janitor like the CEO. I mean, it don't matter who you interact with, like, you're supposed to treat people with respect. So, I mean, that's just what I was taught. And I mean, it don't matter who you are. I feel like, Jesus hung with the thugs. So what's the difference? Feel me?
Man, cut the damn thing off, man. We go.
Hey, real quick, like for everybody out there listening in, we have Ardan Walker, as y'all see at the bottom of the screen. Y'all want to see where these morals come from, these great lessons come from. Y'all can check out the interview, Prime Parents, with his mom and dad on my channel, BiggDogg Chico channel. That's a shameless plug right there, but a great interview. You can see where those morals come from, Arden.
I want to give a shout out to the South. He credited his dad being from the South.
That's right.
Duke's up top right there out of Georgia. BiggDogg Chico, Alabama. Yours truly out of Mississippi. Man, get some South in your mouth.
Easy. Appreciate you, Arden.
I appreciate y'all.
Man, appreciate you stopping by. Much love.
Anytime.
Oh, man, anytime.
Good seeing y'all, too. Appreciate that, man.
All love. All love.
Sir.
All right, I know. Hey, cafeteria call to go eat.
Oh yeah, I'm about to
don't
go get ready.
Don't take that mic with you. Don't be Dukes or Scoop.
My back too big, man. I gotta
hey, Dukes.
Actually, I gotta go home and cook though. I cook at home. So.
Okay.
All right. Cooking up a little bit. Not too much.
Drop on Capinion. I'll be there.
I got you. Yeah, I need you. I need you to test my Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir, man.
Yeah, good
Ardan Walker,
tester.
defensive end, edge rush in Coach Helo's room. What a player! What a guy! One thing Coach Prime says: if you're gonna have a good team, you got to have good people. Coach Livingston touched on that with the rugby analogy as well. You could just see, man, this team has not only some talented athletes, but cerebral athletes. Like, they're doing the homework, watching the film, and making those adjustments and doing everything to make the game slow down to them, Chico.
Yes, indeed. So once again, thanks to Ardan Walker. I want to go back to something that Duke said the other day on one of our shows. And he said, Coach Prime, I forgot the term you used, Duke, but maybe you could bring it up for me. And you said with the turnover coming this spring, Coach Prime kind of wants to top out the talent. He wants to bring in other guys, top grade the talent. Give it up for Dukes right there. I like that, Dukes. Expand on that a little bit more, man. Just tell us more about that process? Because I really like where you was going with that.
No, I mean, like, so when top grade versus upgrading, there's a lot of times when you need to upgrade, it's because you don't have really good talent. You need to just get better. You usually do that from the bottom up. You go find your weakest guy and you try to go up. But when you top grade is, it's like, all right, we're really so good at this point, but we need to get better. We want to create competition. So basically, you allow the competition to say how many spots you have, and you bring in as many good players as you can, and you let the competition kind of figure it out. So when you top grade, it comes from a position of leverage where you're already good. And I think that's where Colorado is now versus having to try to upgrade when they first got there.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I think is going on in Colorado right now with the spring, and then after the spring with the other players that will be coming in and players that will be leaving. I think it's going to be exactly what Duke said. I just wanted to bring that up one time. Y'all check out the other shows right here on the Pregame Network, whether it's the Morning Run, what you're watching right now, Unc and Chico, myself, and Uncle Neely, or You Tell Me with Uncle Neely and Duke's The Scoop right here. Unc, you want to take us out?
Yeah, man, would love to. This has been a great episode, man. You can expect more of this, not just when it's football time in August when we're back for fall camp, but across the summer with coaches and players, joining us live. We can guarantee you that that's going to happen. So here's what you should do. You should take the time and hit that thumbs up, that like button. You should also hit that little bell for notifications. And the next step is you want to go to Duke's The Scoop channel and you want to subscribe there because he's going to be doing his thing, not just covering Colorado, but Georgia and Auburn and football across the diaspora, if you will. And BiggDogg Chico channel as well, because he's bringing things like Prime Parents and special episodes of his live coverage and breakdown of previous episodes. So subscribe to all three. Notification bells on all three. No ego amigo here. This is the Morning Run on the Pregame Network. Deuce to Scoop, BiggDogg Chico. We started off with a big word from Uncle Deuce to Scoop and ended with a big word from Uncle Neely. So get your vocab up when you come here too.
Hey, you remember when Vince Carter hit that dunk and he did like this? He was like, it's over. Man, look, I always thought it was, man, look, I used to be like, Diaspora. Man, that boy said, yeah.
Easy.
That's it.
Big word from Chico. Big word from Chico. We out. Easy.
So what we doing?
What we doing? We'll be back with some more, man. This is the Morning Run. We up at about the same piece of minutes. Yeah.